Hey everybody, it's Jeremy. Welcome back to Pokemon Crystal, where we are playing Ecruteak City. This is turn 5, and let's jump into things. Okay, so this is I think the third turn in a row that we have tried triple expansion. So cross our fingers. All right. We searched for magic sites in Gol Amrod with Blue Chan 1 and did not find anything. Then we had a crippled unit die on the march from Gol Amrod. There is a battle in Dumna. Let's watch. Okay, so this is one of our risky, chancy battles, right? Because we only have like 17 or so Ghastlies, and our profit versus all of these ghouls and Solus and... Oh, no, it's just a long dead. I was like, there's a caster back here. Oh, shit. Just ghouls. Okay, so let's see if we can win this. So a divine blessing goes out. Got some Ghastlies out in front, trying to get in range, I think, for this ranged attacks period. And then the stellar decree comes a spamming. Oh, we're definitely doing damage, but it doesn't look like we're doing crazy damage. Oh, there we go. That obliterated a bunch of them. Burned them down. Oh, damage, but not really a whole lot. Lost a Ghastly there. Oh, looks like we popped a couple there. Maybe. Oof. Ghastly goes down, but we did do a whole bunch of damage with that one. This is looking okay. So we've got so many held, so this is kind of like a great upside of our Stellar Decree. Oh no, they're confused. Never mind. I was gonna say that's Stellar Decree, but that's not. That's just our Ghastly's confusion. It's kind of like almost dealing with Mind Blasters, right? They've left a string of incapacitated individuals that just aren't participating in the fight, and it breaks up the formations, you know? Alright, so I think we're going to be good. We've got Words of Power coming out now instead of Stellar Decrees. Running forward. Alright, yeah. So we succeed. We win in Dumna. And here's the kicker, right? We actually didn't lose anything. You're like, but wait a second, we saw units die. Pop back in real quick. Yes, we saw units die, but the ones that died are actually the units that come from Weldon the Prophet, because everyone else was either on guard or hold and fire. So Weldon the Prophet's units, his 1d3 Ghastlies and 1 Haunter, which we actually lucked out and he got 3 Ghastlies and the Haunter, ran forward to kind of engage, and they're the ones that actually end up dying. All the others are in the back, so by the time these 3, because the Haunter I think lives, but by the time these 3 die, there's not enough, and they can't actually get into our Ghastlies. So we didn't lose a single unit there, and that's fantastic for us. Okay, next up we have the Sea of Mermaids. This is where we sent off our mercenary group all on their own. And the Starmie Riders, and these guys have proven to be very, very good, but they are now up against Water Trolls, or Sea Trolls, right, which have very high regeneration underwater, and a Kraken, which, if this thing gets into melee, is going to pop very quickly through the Starmies, in theory. And there's also an Initiative, the Deep here, who is just a Water 1, but he does have 2 gems. He could potentially Water 2, and then start Water Power, and then start casting, like, lesser Water Elementals or something like that, and that could be a huge problem for us. So let's watch what happens. Well, apparently 2 of them are on guard commander, so that's one thing. And then the psi waves come out, and you can see they're doing damage, but they're almost immediately just getting healed back, right? The sea trolls heal for 11 each time. Here's the kicker though. Once the sea trolls get in, they're size 4, so they cannot stack very well. And once they get in, the Starmie Riders are size 3. So the sea trolls have 1 attack per square. The Starmie Riders have 6 attacks per square. Not counting the psi wave. And that's gonna matter. That's gonna matter a whole bunch. Because watch as these people just get obliterated. Just destroyed. The regeneration that they do cannot out heal the amount of damage that's coming from the 6 attacks. I really underestimated. I thought, like, I knew the Starmie Riders when I got them were good. I did not realize that they were this good. I have underestimated them, and I probably should have continued to pay for them. But I was so concerned with the money that I was getting. But even if I let them go, which I've let them go, I think they have done a good job of establishing that water border that I wanted. I could have kept them, and they could have been continue to be a very valuable resource for me, I think. But I think there's still an argument to say that the 125 gold is more important to me as Ecruteak. So we'll see. We have another battle in second force. This is our god attacking into a bunch of Shuckles and Snubbles. Okay, so Shuckles are not super strong. Basic hit points, got a couple of attacks. They do have a rock throw. This bug bite concerns me because it says ×2 versus demons. And like I said, there's some stuff where I'm like, I remember some items being demons and undead, but I don't know if, I don't know if this is gonna count against the undead or what. But these Snubbles are not really much of a thing. They have fear, so these can be kind of annoying for some other units, but we're undead, so, or for some other cities, but we're undead, so we don't really have to worry about fear as much. Our Gengars are going to go out. We're going to start tossing things, and we're going to start casting animate skeletons. So they just have a hard time killing the Gengars. And again, this is the exact same thing that we've done many times over. They have a hard time killing the Gengars. While they're killing the Gengars, we summon undead after undead after undead. And eventually we just out-attrition them. Because it takes them longer to kill the Gengars than it does for us to kill them. Simple, easy peasy. Very nice. Another victory for the god. Then we have an unexpected event in Gul Amrod. A wild shiny Pokemon has appeared. If a skilled Death Trainer searches the province again, they are surely to capture some. If there's a nurse in the province, she could have prevented this random battle. So, good to note. I think this, right, if you've watched the Cyanwood City game, we had some trouble in the early game. This is definitely more information. I like this. I like that there's more information about it. I still don't like the event. I still think I think having to carry a nurse around with your site searchers all the time is clunky, and it's kind of a pain in the ass. And I think that the event itself, even if you're wanting to, like, utilize it, it's not good enough. You know? Like, the threats that come with it, the threat of losing a site searcher, and then the amount of shinies that you get when you capture them versus the fact that a couple turns later, a little while later, the province is going to rebel. Like, it all just stacks up to be kind of meh, you know? And it's so frequent. Even, you know, I don't like it. But that being said, we have a assassination battle. And it's a Ghastly. But it's a Ghastly versus a blue Channeler that has 2 Ghastlies and or 1d3 Ghastlies and a Hunter. So it's another situation where it's like you're very outmatched. If it gets lucky, he could pop the Channeler, but it's pretty unlikely. So there we go. And then Miracle Patrol has left us and are seeking employment from other nations. So no one has picked them up yet, but who knows. We also have the Young Volunteers. These are... I looked this up earlier. I think it's like... no, Bill is the EVs. Young Volunteers is... shit. I forgot what it is. Young Volunteers. Let's look it up real quick. We've got the mod real quick. Okay, Young Volunteers are... Okay, so it's a lass, and it comes with Marowaks, 3 Marowaks. And they do have experience. The lass has experience, I believe. And she summons Q-Bones in battle. But she's not like a good caster or anything like that. She's like a priest 1, and she has a chance for some random paths. But unlike Bill, who guarantees some, you know, some paths, fire specifically, and astral, I think, as well. Fire, which is what we were interested in. The last doesn't come with anything that we necessarily care about, so we're not interested in potentially trying to grab her for some sort of site searching. Okay. So it is turn 5, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 provinces. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Okay. That's definitely something that we're not gonna sniff at. It's turn 5. We are starting a fortified village. That's definitely not something we're gonna sniff at, especially as Ecruteak City, right? You can see our income, even with 10 provinces, our income is pretty atrocious, right? Fortunately, our upkeep is basically nothing, but that's, you know. But that being said, money is a huge problem, as you can see. And like I said, on the previous turns, the reason why we are being so hyper aggressive is because sooner rather than later, we're going to run into a situation where we cannot expand well. That is this turn. Now, had I paid for the Miracle Patrol, I potentially could have gotten 2 expansions in this turn. I could have gone into Forest of Idun with the Miracle Patrol, or I could have maybe gone up here into Osens with the Miracle Patrol. They might have been able to defeat the Raticates and Mr. Mimes. They definitely could have defeated the Weedles and Spearows, and then I could have moved my god into the Ictiids instead. As it is, we're going to go for the Weedles and Spearows with my god, right? And this is, again, this is a choice. I get more money if I go for Anvast, but I project my border more strongly if I go for Forest of Idun. And right now, I'm concerned about making sure I project my border more strongly. I would love to eventually get Mins, right? So it looks like it's a good province. However, it is infested with Yanmas and Paras and Tauros. We don't really care about the Paras, but the Yanmas, as we have come to find out, will obliterate a ghost army. So this place is probably not going to be something that we can do. At least not something that we can do for a very long time. So we want to hit Forest of Idun, and we want to get Tricia as quickly as we can, because this is probably going to be our northern border, because someone's probably going to troll through here and be like, oh, I can kill that, because they'll be able to kill it far more easily. Okay? But that being said, this will still kind of encapsulate this area. So we need to start looking in other directions, right? So our god is moving into the Forest of Idun. What are we doing with our other expansion parties, right? We just expanded into Dumna, and we had a group here come down into Wesh, right? Because we were potentially going to attack in Histria. This is something that I've gone back and forth on. We could potentially attack in Histria, and I think we might win. We've got 27 units here. We've got 16 units here. That puts us at that. My mind is blanking. 43 units, not counting the leaders, right? So 44 and 45, and then the units that they bring. So close to 50 units, right? I think we would likely win against 60 Snubbles and Chuckles, right? I think we would. But I'm not positive. And at this point, since we have expanded so well, right? Like, if we hadn't have expanded so well, if we were kind of desperate, I would make the desperate choice. But we already have 10 provinces, right? We have 10 provinces on turn 5. We're going to have 11 on turn 6. That's fine. That is perfectly fine, right? So rather than make a desperate decision and risk losing this expansion force, these expansion forces in Histria, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move into Wesh with this force, right? So 16 or 18 units. I'm going to move from Ecruteak down into Wesh with this force, another 19 units. And then I'm going to move from Wesh into Fom with this unit. So this is kind of an example. Again, we haven't really been doing this yet, but and this is, I think, one of the things we're going to try to do. We're stealthy. We're ghosts. And our leaders, our kimono girls, are stealthy 65. We can elf the shit out of somebody, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to put that, we're going to, since we've expanded well, we don't have to desperately expand. We're going to move into Falm, get information. So moving into Falm gets us sight here and here, right? Which I think it is possible that someone is down here in 110, right? If we go 1, 2, 3, 4. No. So if we see people here, we can know. And then we have a chance to try to start establishing borders in 136, 128, or 122, if we can kind of figure things out. So from Wesh, what we'll be able to do is we'll be able to take these 3 armies and attack them into 1, 2, or 3 in one of these locations and go from there, right? So if we find that we move into this and we find that both of these provinces are taken, right? Then we know, okay, well, they're establishing a board here. If we can see an army, we might know that something's going to happen. If there's no one here, like if this province hasn't been taken, then we know, okay, and this province has been taken, then we know it's unlikely we can move into 136 probably uncontested, okay? So this is just information that we're trying to hash out. And combining these 3 armies is going to give us a much more robust army than what we have at the moment with any of the 3 separate armies. Okay? And then after that, hopefully we'll be expanding 2 provinces for the foreseeable future, for the next couple turns, to where we have 16 to 18. Maybe not quite that many, but that's kind of the goal, is 16 to 18. Because if we look at it, right, we've already got, this will be 11. This is definitely 12. That's definitely in our purview, right? This would eventually be something that we would want, so that's probably 13. It's already kind of encapsulated by our stuff, though in fairness, Cyanwood could try to go for it. Okay. So that would be 13. This throne is 14, right? If we can get 15, 16, or 15, 16, 17, right? Maybe we grab green waters because we have a better chance of going underwater than a lot of people, right? So we could get a nice little 15 to 20 province empire going right here. And then, I think, we've already kind of talked about it, we look to start elfing someone, right? We get a bunch of kimono girls going, or kimono women. Sorry, not girls. And then we, we get 15, 20 Ghastlies on them, and we start sneaking them into. This is not me saying I'm coming at Cyanwood, but it's who I can see right now. So, for example, we just start sneaking them into their provinces, and we elf the shit out of them. So that's kind of the general game plan. All right, that's pretty much it for the turn. Our research is still abysmal, but we will actually finish construction 1 next turn. After that, we are probably going to try to run up construction 2. I guess. Oh, it's because I'm on. I was like, why are there no? Because I was on nature. We're probably going to try to get a kindergarten established or something like that. I don't know. We'll see. The schools are not as good as they once were. I wish they need to tell a person how much experience they get. Well, I believe it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That doesn't sound right. I think it's maybe 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. That sounds better. Because it used to be, right, it used to be representative of the amount that you spent on it. 2, 4, 8, 16, 32. And I think basically instead of, so I think it's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 now. Which for me, I think the 8 is probably that sweet spot. But I don't think we're going to go up construction 5. Not anytime soon anyway. So, alright, anyways, that is the turn. I will see you all next time. Bye, everybody.